of this island continent.
Not storms, not an ordinary tsunami. This is a mega tsunami.
Huge boulders appear ripped from the ocean. Large swashes of rock were chiseled away in seconds.
This is just catastrophic erosion as best as you get.
Only a gigantic event could cause a tsunami this large. And some scientists are looking to space for answers.
Cosmic impacts are very real. They're a very real danger.
Not everyone buys the theory.
And that's actually quite a complicated way of explaining it.
Yet native stories may hold clues to the mystery.
And of course, all of these images are very suggestive of the witnessing of a comet.
Join a determined team of scientists as they scour the Australian continent in search of a mega tsunami. Dr. Ted Bryant is on a quest. A geomorphologist from the University of Wollongong in Australia, he has discovered some very unique natural features along a stretch of Australian coastline. Dr. Bryant is in New South Wales, 100 miles south of Sydney, in a place called Jarvis Bay. He has found immense slab-shaped boulders in large piles along the beach. Bryant asserts a massive wave once ripped these boulders from the floor of the bay, depositing them here like dominoes.
You can see that they're stacking one on top of the other, so we're fairly convinced that something dropped out of the flow, just stalled it, and they all dropped out. Very much like driving along an expressway too far and the car in front of you suddenly stops, and all the rest of the cars just bank up behind it.
Due to the size and shape of the boulders, Bryant argues an ordinary storm wave could have never brought these rocks ashore.
If it looks like a ball bearing, you can move that dead easy. If they get flatter, if they start looking like slabs of concrete, they become very difficult to move. And so the blocks that we see in here that are slab-like, they may not weigh as much as some of the bigger ones that are rounder, but they're incredibly difficult to move. It takes a wave height about 8 times higher to move a slab than it does to move something that's round.
Bryant theorizes the boulders must have been brought here by a very large tsunami, and they are not the only evidence he has discovered. A little ways up the coast, a sea cave piques his interest.
This is just so awesome. We're in a sheltered location, rock platform, and the tsunami has come over the headland, and it's got so much energy. It's just boring into this cave. It's taking out great blocks, flushing them back out, and the cave's about 20 meters long. This is just catastrophic erosion as best as you get. This is Cathedral Rocks. Gets a special case of erosion by mega tsunami. Instead of having a vortex that looks like water going down a toilet bowl, it's more like egg beaters. And so there are sections between the vortices which are quiet. They're enough to cut rock, and the quiet zone is left behind, and you have these stacks that are fluted. They're slightly elongated. We think these are caused or carved out almost instantaneously, but they're carved out by enormous forces of water.
For Dr. Bryant, this is additional proof these shores must have once been hit by a massive tsunami. Tsunamis are large, powerful waves normally caused by earthquakes. When underwater plates crack along fault lines, entire columns of water get displaced. This is exactly what caused the Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004, one of the deadliest tsunamis in recorded history.
It was one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded on modern instruments, truly enormous, and it created an immense tsunami that by any standards would be considered huge, waves in places over 100 feet high.
But Ted Bryant is skeptical a traditional tsunami had anything to do with the evidence he's found in Australia.
We know where the earthquakes are for New South Wales that would generate tsunami. And it goes off about every 500 years, but it generates about an 8 to an 8.3 magnitude earthquake.
And according to Bryant, this would bring a tsunami wave no more than 10 feet tall to this coastline. Yet he's imagining a much bigger wave.
The wave came over that hill, dropped down into the bay, and then it came across here and ran along the platform with enormous lift forces. And it began to lift up big rock slabs and quarry it out. And then the blocks you see here have been either ripped off the cliff face, but more importantly, they've been ripped out of an excavation along the platform. And it just started ripping up like crazy. It's not storms, not an ordinary tsunami. It's not the Indian Ocean tsunami. This is a mega tsunami.
Ted Bryant has calculated a wave more than 30 feet tall would be needed to move these boulders. That's more than 3 times larger than anything an earthquake could send to these shores. But there is another type of tsunami capable of creating such powerful waves. A landslide tsunami.